If there is one practical thing that Democrats can do right now that would help them regain power, it's never speak to Trump in person. No, I'm kidding. That's stupid. No, it's this. Inspire your moderates to vote in the primaries. Get that base excited. You have the numbers. After Congressman Moulton made his comment about his daughter not getting run over, he added, "But as a Democrat, I'm supposed to be afraid to say that." Well, then change what you're supposed to be afraid of.
The Democratic National Committee is going through major internal trouble, and Bill Maher isn't pulling any punches. Instead of showing support for a party struggling to find clear direction, he's calling them out directly. Maher criticized progressive leaders like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the broader Democratic leadership, arguing that they're making the same mistakes that led to their past losses. His remarks were direct, blunt, and meant to send a message. Maher warned that unless the party changes its approach, it could face the same failures all over again.
People ask me all the time, why haven't you ever had Hillary or Bill Clinton on? Why didn't you have Kamala on during the last campaign? You think we don't ask? We ask these people every week. They say no. It took 8 years and a petition to get Obama on. And these are people, all people I voted for. Think about that. They're afraid to come on the show of a guy who voted for them.
Maher expressed deep frustration with the very party he supported for years, through his votes, donations, and public influence. Despite being one of their most visible media allies, he says Democratic leaders have chosen to keep their distance. Maher explained that he's invited major party figures to appear on Real Time with Bill Maher many times, giving them a chance to speak directly to millions of viewers, but they've repeatedly declined. According to him, the reason is simple. They don't want to face tough questions or defend weak policies in an open setting. Instead of engaging with opposing views, he believes many Democratic leaders stay within echo chambers, surrounded only by people who agree with them. To Maher, this behavior shows how far the left has drifted, becoming more cautious, defensive, and intellectually stagnant. He ended with a sharp question. Are Republicans guilty of the same fear? Or are they actually willing to face real debate?
The Republicans, they show up. And when they do, they take their beating like a man. You went down to Mar-a-Lago and kissed his after that.
Oh, bullshit.
When the Mueller report came out, I feel like you mischaracterized it, and I feel that was shady. But you campaigned for election deniers in 2022. This I do not forgive. The Republicans, including you, January 6th, etc., are the ones who are no longer willing to play by the rules of democracy. Amendment 22, no person shall be elected to the office of the president more than twice. And yet you keep talking about Trump's maybe you should have this.
Republicans haven't always had smooth moments on Maher's show. Some hold their ground well, while others stumble under pressure. But Maher says that's not the main issue. What truly matters, in his view, is that Republicans show up. They're willing to sit across from him, take the criticism, and engage in open debate, even when their answers aren't perfect. That readiness to face tough conversations, Maher argues, shows a kind of resilience and accountability that Democrats often avoid. While many on the left prefer to stick to friendly platforms and controlled settings, Republicans tend to face the heat directly. For Maher, that contrast speaks volumes, because simply showing up, even with flaws, takes more courage than staying silent.
And Mondami and Elizabeth Warren. But I can't subpoena the guests. And I can't fix that what the Democrats are scared of more than anything else, I mean, obviously besides gluten, is being primaried from the far left, even though most Democrats are not far left. They're mild-mannered and moderate, at least at my bathhouse.
It's become clear that voices on the far left are now steering much of the so-called progressive movement, and in many ways, they've grown louder than the Democratic Party itself. Instead of standing firm on clear values, the party often gives in to every demand, no matter how unrealistic or divisive. To Maher and others who share his concern, this doesn't look like leadership. It looks like giving up control. The Democratic National Committee, once seen as a strong and unified force, now seems more focused on pleasing activists than solving real problems for ordinary Americans. Maher warns that this path can't last. What the party truly needs, he says, isn't another leader trying to please everyone, but someone willing to draw the line, challenge the extremes, and rebuild a sense of confidence and direction at its core.
Even though most Democrats are not far left, they're mild-mannered and moderate, at least at my bathhouse. If there is one practical thing that Democrats can do right now that would help them regain power, it's never speak to Trump in person. No, I'm kidding. That's stupid. After Congressman Moulton made his comment about his daughter not getting run over, he added, "But as a Democrat, I'm supposed to be afraid to say that." Well, then change what you're supposed to be afraid.
Maher's comments cut to the heart of today's political divide. In recent years, many moderate Democrats have quietly moved toward the center, or even slightly to the right. These are longtime supporters who once proudly stood with the party, but now feel pushed aside by its growing far-left influence. Maher believes many of them would return if the Democratic National Committee had the courage to step away, even a little, from the control of its most extreme voices. Instead, the party often acts cautiously, afraid of backlash, social media outrage, or internal criticism. This fear, he says, keeps them from making independent or balanced decisions. Until the DNC finds the strength to stand firm and bring moderation back into focus, Maher warns, these voters will continue to stay distant. To him, that hesitation isn't just a political mistake. It's a pattern of fear that could keep the party stuck for years.
You're engaging with a psycho who all they care about is controlling you. They're very good at diagnosing problems. Yeah. They're very good at figuring out what your weak points are. And that's, I would argue, what a lot of these people are doing.
That's right.
They recognize that if you can focus on these problems, then you can, use that dissatisfaction to gain power for yourself.
Here's Maher's main point, laid out plainly. If Democrats choose someone like Zohran Mani as their top candidate for the 2028 election, they could be handing an easy victory to J.D. Vance before the race even starts. Maher argues that Mani's strongly progressive agenda might excite younger voters, especially Gen Z, who often support bold and unconventional ideas. But as Maher points out, elections come down to numbers, and Gen Z isn't the largest voting group yet. Older generations like millennials, Gen X, and baby boomers still make up most of the voters, and many of them aren't drawn to Mani's left-leaning message. Instead of growing their base, Maher believes nominating someone that far left would push moderates and older voters away. His warning is clear. Choosing a candidate who represents the political fringe isn't smart planning. It's political self-sabotage. In his view, that decision could not only weaken Democrats, but also set the stage for a major Republican victory.
It must be horrible for a guy like you, who you spent your whole life talking about how government tries to do too much, which it does, and spends too much. And here you have Trump, who is the Republican, who is aggrandizing more power than anybody, as we just talked about. And on the other side, you have the guy running in New York, Mandami, right? Okay, who's like a straight-up communist. I mean, he is. He talks about, the things that communists say. I mean, he wants free grocery stores, free buses.
I want him to win.
You want him to win?
Yeah. I think every 20 years or so.
Wait.
We need every 20 years or so, we need a conspicuous, confined experiment with socialism so we can crack it up again.
From Maher's point of view, Mani isn't showing real leadership. He's channeling public frustration and using it as a political tool. Maher says that while Mani is right to call out problems in the system, he fails to offer serious, workable solutions. Instead, he focuses on fueling anger and resentment to win support. It's a familiar pattern, Maher argues. Point fingers, stir emotions, and energize frustrated voters without providing practical answers. But Maher's sharpest criticism focuses on Mani's economic ideas. No matter how appealing they sound, he believes that systems built on socialist-style policies have consistently failed to create lasting prosperity. Many younger voters, Maher adds, are drawn to the message because they haven't seen those failures firsthand. They hear bold promises framed as progress, but overlook the potential consequences: slower growth, less personal freedom, and greater division that in Maher's eyes. Mani isn't leading people toward real solutions. He's offering a political illusion. And while younger audiences may be inspired by the message, Maher warns that too few are asking the hard questions needed to see beyond the slogans.
Socialist slogan used to be, workers of the world unite, you have nothing to lose but your chains. The new socialist slogan is, trust us, this time it won't be a mess. So, when the post-war Labour government in Britain was about to get started, one of their leading lights was a socialist named Nurian Bevan. He said, what could go wrong? He said, we have a nation bedded on coal, surrounded by fish. It would take an organizational genius to have a shortage of either. In 3 years, they had a shortage of both. That's socialism.
For those familiar with history, the outcomes of socialist-style systems are well known, and not ones anyone wants to repeat. That's why, instead of backing Manny's rise, many observers are warning against it. Maher's message is clear. Democrats need to recognize the risks before it's too late. He cautions that Manny's ideas may sound inspiring in theory, but tend to fail when tested in reality. The concern, Maher says, is that such promises, though emotionally powerful, can weaken the economy and limit individual freedom over time. That what's needed most, he argues, is clarity. Voters should look beyond slogans and buzzwords to understand the long-term impact of the policies being proposed. If Democrats want to protect both their future and the nation's stability, Maher believes they must draw a firm line now, before Manny's approach leads the party, and possibly the country, down a damaging path.